Imagine your most private secrets, the ones you thought were safe, suddenly being exposed and sent to your friends, family, and neighbors. Welcome to the Circleville Letters, a chilling mystery that has puzzled investigators and residents for decades. In the late 70s, an anonymous writer began terrorizing the small town of Circleville, Ohio, a place where everyone knew each other and secrets were hard to keep. This mysterious figure sent hundreds of threatening letters, each one more menacing than the last. These letters revealed scandalous secrets and made terrifying accusations, shaking the very foundation of this tight-knit community. But who was behind this sinister penmanship? Who had the audacity and the knowledge to expose such intimate details? Fingers pointed to Paul Freshour, a local resident whose life was turned upside down by these accusations. His controversial conviction left many questions unanswered, and many believed that justice had not been served. Yet, even with Paul behind bars, the letters continued to arrive, each one more perplexing than the last. Could it be a copycat? Or was the real culprit still out there, laughing at the chaos they had created? The mystery deepened as investigators struggled to find concrete evidence. Was it possible that the true mastermind was still at large, hiding in plain sight? Decades later, the mystery remains unsolved, leaving a dark cloud over Circleville. The case has become a legend, a story passed down through generations. The mystery of the Circleville Letters began quietly, almost innocently, in the mid-1970s. Residents of Circleville, Ohio, started finding strange handwritten letters in their mailboxes. At first, these letters seemed like mere nuisances, but it soon became clear that they were something far more sinister. These letters contained deeply personal information, secrets that only someone very close could have known. Accusations of infidelity, corruption, and even threats of violence were meticulously detailed in each note. The writer seemed to have an uncanny knowledge of the recipients' lives, their routines, and their darkest secrets. Imagine receiving a letter that exposes your most private moments, or worse, threatens your life. The shock and fear that gripped the recipients were palpable. The community was thrown into a state of paranoia and distrust. Friends became suspicious of one another. Neighbors watched each other with wary eyes, and the sense of security that once blanketed the small town was shattered. The initial reaction was one of disbelief and confusion. Who could be behind such an invasion of privacy? Why were they doing this? As more letters appeared, the anxiety grew. People began locking their doors, looking over their shoulders, and questioning the loyalty of those they had known for years. The local authorities were inundated with complaints, but they were at a loss. The letters were unsigned, the handwriting disguised, and there were no clear suspects. The community's trust in law enforcement wavered as the letters kept coming, each one more threatening and personal than the last. As the mystery deepened, the residents of Circleville were left to wonder, who among them was the puppet master pulling the strings of fear? The letters were more than just a series of threats. They were a psychological assault on an entire community. As the letters continued to flood the mailboxes of Circleville, the fear and paranoia among the residents grew exponentially. The mysterious writer seemed to thrive on the chaos, each new letter more menacing than the last. Then, in 1977, the situation took a terrifying turn. Mary Gillespie, a local school bus driver, had been one of the primary targets of the letters. The anonymous author accused her of having an affair with the school superintendent, Gordon Massey. Despite her denials, the letters persisted, becoming increasingly aggressive and threatening. On one fateful day, as Mary was driving her usual route, she noticed a sign along the road that seemed to target her directly. Determined to remove it, she pulled over. But what she found was far more sinister than just a sign. Concealed behind it was a booby trap designed to kill her. A loaded gun, rigged to fire when the sign was removed, narrowly missed its mark. Mary was shaken but unharmed. The discovery of the booby trap sent shockwaves through the community. What had begun as a series of unsettling letters had now escalated into a direct attempt on someone's life. The Circleville Letters were no longer just a psychological threat. They had become a physical danger. The attempted shooting of Mary Gillespie marked a turning point in the investigation. Law enforcement intensified their efforts, but the elusive author remained one step ahead. The townspeople were gripped by a new level of fear. If someone could go to such lengths to harm Mary, who would be next? The incident also cast a long shadow over the investigation. The authorities were under immense pressure to find the culprit, but the lack of concrete evidence made their task daunting. The community's trust in the police continued to erode as the letters and threats persisted. The shooting of Mary Gillespie was a stark reminder that the threat was real and ever-present. It was a chilling escalation that added a new layer of urgency to the mystery. The residents of Circleville were left to grapple with the terrifying realization that the puppet master behind the letters was willing to do more than just pull strings. They were ready to act on their threats. Who was behind these letters? What was their true motive? And how far were they willing to go to instill fear in the hearts of Circleville's residents? The mystery deepened, and the answers remained just out of reach. After the near-fatal incident involving Mary Gillespie, the Circleville Police Department ramped up their investigation. The small town's tranquility had been shattered, and the pressure to find the mysterious letter writer was mounting. Detectives pored over every piece of evidence, scrutinizing each letter for clues. Handwriting experts were brought in, and the letters were analyzed for any hidden messages or patterns. Despite these efforts, the investigation seemed to be hitting a wall. A breakthrough came in 1983, when Paul Freshour, Mary Gillespie's brother-in-law, became the prime suspect. Freshour's estranged wife had accused him of being the Circleville letter writer. The police decided to search his home, and what they found would become crucial evidence in the case. Inside Freshour's garage, they discovered materials that matched those used in the booby trap intended for Mary. Additionally, handwriting samples from Freshour bore a striking resemblance to the writing on the threatening letters. Freshour was arrested and charged with attempted murder. The trial that followed was a media sensation. Prosecutors presented their evidence, including the handwriting analysis and the materials found in Freshour's garage. They argued that Freshour had both the means and motive to terrorize Mary Gillespie and the residents of Circleville. However, the trial was not without controversy. Freshour maintained his innocence, claiming he had been framed. Some experts questioned the reliability of the handwriting analysis, while others pointed out inconsistencies in the evidence. Despite these doubts, the jury found Freshour guilty, and he was sentenced to 7 to 25 years in prison. The conviction of Paul Freshour was seen by many as a resolution to the Circleville letter mystery, but the controversy didn't end there. Even after Freshour was incarcerated, the letters continued to arrive, casting doubt on whether the real culprit had been caught. Some believed that Freshour had an accomplice, while others thought the true letter writer was still at large. The case of the Circleville Letters remains shrouded in mystery and debate. Was Paul Freshour truly guilty, or was he an innocent man caught in a web of deception? The answers may never be fully known, but the story of the Circleville Letters continues to captivate and haunt those who seek the truth. The conviction of Paul Freshour brought a temporary sense of closure to the Circleville letter mystery. However, it wasn't long before controversies and doubts began to surface, casting a shadow over the case. Despite Freshour being behind bars, the letters continued to arrive. This puzzling development led many to question whether the real letter writer had been caught at all. Was Freshour truly guilty, or was he an innocent man entangled in a complex web of deceit? Some experts pointed out significant flaws in the evidence against Freshour. The reliability of the handwriting analysis was hotly debated. Critics argued that handwriting comparisons are inherently subjective and not foolproof. Additionally, the materials found in Freshour's garage, while suspicious, were not conclusive proof of his guilt. Freshour himself maintained his innocence until his death, claiming he had been framed. His supporters believed that he was a convenient scapegoat, chosen to bring a quick resolution to a case that had gripped the small town in fear. Multiple theories emerged about the true identity of the Circleville letter writer. One theory suggested that Freshour's estranged wife, who had initially pointed the finger at him, might have been involved. Others speculated that multiple individuals could have been working together, orchestrating a campaign of terror for reasons unknown. Another theory posited that the real letter writer was someone within the community who had intimate knowledge of the residents' lives. Could it have been a disgruntled neighbor, a jealous rival, or even a jilted lover seeking revenge? The possibilities seemed endless, and the truth remained elusive. The continued arrival of letters even after Freshour's conviction added another layer of complexity to the case. Some believed that Freshour had an accomplice who continued the letter-writing campaign to divert suspicion. Others thought the true culprit was emboldened by Freshour's imprisonment, confident that the authorities would not look beyond the convicted man. The mystery of the Circleville Letters endures, with more questions than answers. Was justice truly served, or was an innocent man wrongly imprisoned? The case remains one of Ohio's most enigmatic unsolved mysteries, leaving us to ponder the true identity of the Circleville letter writer. The Circleville Letters case remains one of the most baffling mysteries in the annals of true crime. Despite the conviction and subsequent release of Paul Freshour, the central question lingers. Who was really behind these menacing letters? The unresolved aspects of the case continue to haunt both investigators and the Circleville community. The persistence of the letters, even after Freshour's incarceration, raises significant doubts about his guilt. Was there an accomplice, or was the real writer never caught? The impact of this case on Circleville was profound. For years, residents lived under the shadow of fear and suspicion, not knowing if they might be the next target. Relationships were strained and trust within the community was eroded. The letters not only terrorized individuals, but also left a lasting psychological scar on the town itself. Historically, the Circleville Letters case has become a somber reminder of how a single individual, or perhaps a group, can disrupt the peace and security of an entire community. It serves as a case study in the limitations of forensic science and the complexities of human behavior. As we conclude our exploration of this perplexing mystery, we invite you, our viewers, to weigh in. What do you think? Was Paul Freshour the real letter writer, or was he an innocent man caught in a web of deceit? Do you have any theories about who might have been behind the Circleville letters? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Your insights could help shed light on this enduring enigma. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of Ohio's most enigmatic, unsolved mysteries. Don't forget to subscribe for more true crime stories, and join us next time as we uncover the secrets of another chilling case. Until then, stay curious and keep seeking the truth.